But the things that are righteous in the sight of the Heavenly Father is despicable to you people, man. All right, because you people are backwards, man. All right. All things are lawful, but all things are not expedient. Let me get that.
What?
Yep.
She used to kill the cat? Yep. That's not smart.
This is 1 Corinthians 10, verse 23. It says what? Okay, all things are lawful for me, but all things are not expedient, man. All things are lawful for me, but all things edify not, man. All right. So there's certain things that are within the law that we're allowed to do. All right. We're justified according to the Most High, man. All right. Certain things that we're allowed to do within the law that's not expedient in this captivity, man. All right. And expedient means convenient, man. All right. So this is why the Most High did what? He had a period of grace, man. All right. So the Most High said what? He said that you were to keep the laws to the best of your ability, man. Rehearse the righteous acts, man. Because if you do something like you go and you see a homosexual, you go put him to death, man, you're gonna be put in jail, obviously, man. That's common sense, right? But according to the law, we're justified, man. That's not wicked. That's not a wicked act. That's a righteous act. But we can't do that in this. It's not convenient. It's not expedient, man. All right? Because if it was expedient, we wouldn't be locked up, man. We wouldn't be getting locked up for that, man. All right? For example, I'll give you another example. So basically, if you catch a woman in adultery, man, right? You catch her in adultery, you have the right to put her to death according to the scriptures, man. That's what OJ did, right? But they locked his ass up, man. All right? Because you can't do that, man. You can't do that in this society, man. That's why it says you have to be subject unto the higher power. That's what it's talking about, man. All right? Because you can't do certain things. Basically, you do something like that, you're basically declaring war against the system, man. You're declaring war against Esau physically, man, by doing something like that. All right? And that's why the apostles and elders always say what, man? Any brother that they catch doing something like that, we're throwing you under the bus, man. You don't have nothing to do with us, man. All right? Because you got to be wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove, man. All right? This is not the time for us to rise up physically. This is the time for us to rise up spiritually, man, against this kingdom, man. All right? The so-called white man has weapons that you don't even know about, man. All right? The so-called white man has certain weapons that'll give you a heart attack, man. He has lasers that he can drop from the sky, man. All right? So you can't come up against this man physically, man. All right? You have to wait upon Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, man. Yahweh Yahushai to come, man. All right? Because once they come, they're going to take him down, man. We don't have to do anything, man. When they see Yahushai in that chariot, man, they're going to know what time it is, man. All right? They're going to know their kingdom is done, man. All right? They're gonna know that's the end, man. All right? And they see a big so-called black man in chariots, man. They know that's nothing good for them, man. All right? Because when they think back to what they've done to the so-called black people, they're gonna say, if the Lord is a so-called black man, there's trouble, man. All right? According to the scriptures, there is trouble for you. All right? There's great death and destruction prophesied for Esau, man, and the Edomites, man. All right? But in Israelites, there's glory, man. There's honor. All right? That's what's prophesied, man. You can't go around prophecy, man. The thing that Esau tries to do, the thing that these elites try to do, they try to circumvent the prophecies, man. You can't circumvent the prophecies, man. You can't go around what the Heavenly Father has written, man. All right? Because he's bound by his word, man. All right? So if it said that the Edomites are going to have to go down and then serve slavery under the Israelites, right, which are the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, that's what they're going to have to do, man, along with the other nations. Because they're not going to be alone in slavery. The East Indians are going to be there. The Arabs are going to be there. The Chinese are going to be there. All these other heathens, man, are going to be in slavery under the Israelites, man. All right? Because we were meant to rule the planet Earth, man. All right? The Most High has brought us to the lowest state we've ever been, man. All right? And He's about to raise us up to the highest state we've ever been. Okay? And that's going to be a beautiful day. All right? But first and foremost, when they see Yahweh Shai in those chariots, they're going to realize that their kingdom is done, man. They're going to realize that their kingdom is finished, man. But yet, as the scriptures say, they're still going to continue to fight, man. All right? Even though they see that their kingdom is finished, these stupid people are going to continue to fight, man. There's actually going to be Israelites among them, all right? Because you have so-called black people, Latino people, and Native American people join the armies right now, right? So when Yahweh Shai comes back, which is really their redeemer as well, all right? Because eventually the whole nation of Israel will be delivered. When He comes back, they're actually going to be fighting against Him too, man, all right? Continue with this, with that second Ezra 13 chapter. Right, this is second Ezra 13 verse 1. Okay. And it shall come to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof, and I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven, man. All right, who's that man talking about, man? That man's talking about Yahweh Shai, man. All right, our Lord and Savior, man, our Redeemer, man. That's talking about Yahweh Shai. He's gonna be waxing strong with the thousands of heaven, man. All right. Continue with that. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. All right. And whosoever the voice went out of his mouth, whatsoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, man. All right. Like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire, man. All right. So Yahweh Shai is coming back with fire, man. All right, they think that Yahweh Shai, who they ignorantly call Jesus Christ, is coming back with flowers or whatever, man. I think he's coming back. He's coming back soft, man. He's coming back with force. All right, and it's a so-called black man. It's not an Edomite man. Not a so-called white man. All right, the Lord is a so-called black man. All right, according to Revelations, according to Daniel's. All right. So this false ideology that these people have in their head, that's going to be crushed, man. They're going to be very surprised, all right, and very scared when they see the reality of the situation, man. All right? And they see the Lord come back in great fury and anger, man. All right? And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea, man. That's talking about these armies, man. These different armies of all these nations, man. All right? There's going to be a point while they're fighting World War III, all right, that they're going to say, let us turn and fight against that power that's coming, man. All right? And I don't remember which person said it, but it was one of these presidents or somebody said it, that if there was another life force came from another planet, would we all get together as nations and fight against that life force? Okay? Because they see these chariots, right, coming to the war zones and the military bases. There's accounts of them seeing the chariots, man. Count them seeing UFOs, man. All right? But they just don't report it, man. They leave that as classified information, man. All right? But they see that, man. The elites, they know that these chariots are going to come, man. They know that Yahushua is going to come on these chariots. Excuse me. All right? So let me read that again. And after I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea, man. So they came back to fight Yahushua, man. All right? They're going to come and they're going to actually fight against the Lord, man. All right? So this is what's going to happen, man. Once they see him come up and it's going to seem like he came out of the sea, all right? They're going to all turn to him and they're going to start fighting against him, all right? But I beheld, and lo, he had graven himself a great mountain and flew upon it. But I would have seen the region of or place where out the hill was graven, and I could not. All right, so Yahushua is going to be on a huge chariot, man. So basically, Ezra's is saying that he wasn't able to see where that mountain was graven from, man. He described the chariot as a mountain, man. That was the size of the chariot, man. It was so big, it was as a mountain. All right, and Yahushua is going to be riding on that chariot, man. All right, in great power and glory. All right. Let me continue with that. But I beheld, and lo, he had graven himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. But I would have seen the region or a place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet there's fight, man. All right, so those people are going to be scared when they see the Lord, all right, but they're still going to fight, man, all right, because that's not going to be the image of what they were taught, man. They were taught the Lord looks like a so-called white man, man. They were taught that the Lord looks like Cesare Borgia, man. When they see a so-called black man coming out of the sky, they're going to start getting scared, man, all right.